Busy weekend, back to back to back. What was that like for you? What was that like for the team, kind of experiencing 3 games in a row?
I don't know that I'd do it again. 3 games in a row is a lot. Obviously, when you're located where we are, anytime you can get home games, you take them. And people really like to come to us in February because it's a time where other people can't play outside on their own fields, and it's always nice in the dome. But we did play 3 games in 3 days, and I think that by the end of the third day, I don't think we could have played a fourth game on the fourth day. But really proud of our effort we had all weekend, and obviously going 2-1 isn't as good as going 3-0. But we played a really, really good team in that first game, so I was really proud of us to be able to just wipe that kind of clean and show up for the next 2 games and really play the way that I know that we can, even though the caliber of opponent was definitely lower from Friday to Saturday, just because division to division. But I do think it's hard to play back-to-back games, and we did it, and we're done with it, and we don't have to do it until maybe next year. So overall, super proud of our performance. Bodies held up pretty well. Brains held up pretty well. We were able to function pretty well in the third game, which is always hard. Like, are they going to be able to listen when they're tired? And I thought we did a really good job executing what we needed to against McKendree. So, yeah, too many games.
And then, Coach, when we looked at Maryville game, you're playing a top opponent in the country. What did you like out of your team, offensively, defensively, in that game?
I thought we had a really good first quarter. Maryville has a very different type of athlete than we do. They have these short, quick, and fast athletes, and they're one of the most like, they execute things in such a perfect way constantly for the entire game, and they move at a pace that's so hard to match for the entire game. And I thought we were a uniquely bad matchup for that. Our athletes we have a lot of long, lanky kids, and when you're asking those kids to constantly be bending lower than they normally do and moving their feet quicker than is natural for them, it became very apparent when number 6, who's about 5'2" and one of the best players in the country, scored 9 on us in a quarter. It might have been 8 in a quarter, but she scored a lot in the second quarter, just because our athletes just couldn't keep up. Like, they were better. They were far, far better than we were, and I think having that type of reality check this early in the season is really important, because we do have such a dominant team in our own conference in Grand Valley who we're going to end up playing 2 times in conference. And fortunately for us, they don't play the way that Maryville does. And I think that we are better matched up for the type of humans that go to Grand Valley. But this Maryville matchup, I mean, you could see it from the first draw. They were just going to be quicker and faster than us. So glad that we had 2 wins after that. It was important for us to be able to kind of immediately recover from that game.
Yeah, Coach. And then when we look at NMU as a whole, the offensive potency that we've seen so far this season. I mean, you guys put the ball in the net. What can you equate that to? Strategy, your selflessness, how the team moves the ball, or what goes into that?
For sure. I mean, a huge part of it is just the chemistry that our attack has been able to form in the past couple months. Obviously, again, lacrosse is a spring sport, so we get all these months of practice before we get to play, and I think that really helps with chemistry, because it's not often you see, like, our 2 best, our 2 point leaders right now are a 5th-year senior and a freshman, and those 2 work uniquely well together, and it's been really cool to watch Josie Lukowski and Minnie really play together. They can assist each other, they can drive, and they're both scary enough that they pull defenders and they can hit the other one, and just having that multi-threat offense really helps the rest of our attackers too. We kind of now have a 3-pronged attack, because we've always had, Caitlin Bridger's always been really solid too, and once you have 3 attackers that defenses are worried about driving on, the gaps just get bigger, because they'll send slides earlier, and it's so much easier to then see your other attackers within that, so you can get those catch and shoots that we've been seeing from, like, Taylor Priestley or Abby Sisson or Lane Stanton. Like, we've been able to get more people scoring because you have those driving threats that pull defense. So I think it's been really cool. And part of it's, again, I have an assistant who's offensive minded, and I think that's been really helpful because just the words she can use just to have a different frame of mind talking to them every day is really good. So.
And then, Coach, when we talk about Josie, what's it like to see that, just her kind of shine these last couple of games,
Yeah, Josie's awesome. She's one of those, like, you say jump, she says how high type kid. She'll do whatever you want, anytime you want. She's really field aware. She's a point guard in basketball, and you can really tell she can find people anywhere. She's really good at reading defenses. And more than that, she's the quickest athlete that we have on our team. Without trying, she can outrun everyone. And that obviously is huge, especially as a freshman. If you don't have to worry about your pace and you don't have to worry about getting tired, it becomes a lot easier to kind of absorb everything else and become a threat in that way. But no, she's done a really good job of just listening to everything we've told her to do and trying to do it. So, and part of what makes it so easy for Minnie to work with her is that Minnie can, like, head nod at her and Josie will read it and move. So that's been fun to watch.
And then, Coach, we talked about home games. Now we're going to flop. Next 5 on the road. What changes? Kind of addressing the team. Travel obviously, but routine, things like that.
For sure. I mean, it's been so nice to be home for these first 6. But still, compared to our schedule from last year for travel, like, we got it pretty easy this year. We're gone for the whole month of March, but it's only 5 games. It's only 2 trips. We go on spring break. And instead of, we were gone for 11 days last year. This year, we're only gone for 6. And when we go to Ohio, we're only playing 2 games instead of 3 like we played the last time. So overall, just the scheduling is better, and it should help us have consistent recovery. We play no back-to-back games during this month, and even though we do go down and play 2 really a new team and then 2 really good teams in GLVC when we go down to Kansas City, we do at least have a day of prep in between those. And I'm hoping, based on, like, the way the forecast looks right now, we should also be having some pretty decent weather. I love to say how tough we are and that Wildcat weather is any weather, but that first game we play outside is always a little rough when you're used to playing in the dome. So it'll be good that our first games down in Kansas City is supposed to be pretty mild, and I think that'll help us. But obviously, like, it's a big difference. We haven't hit the road with the whole team yet, so I think that'll be fun to do. But yeah, at least we got consistent days off on both road trips, so that's good.